Gaslighting, a manipulative tactic, involves one person making their victim doubt their memory, perception, or sanity. This form of manipulation can occur in various relationships, such as romantic partnerships, family dynamics, friendships, and workplaces. It often entails denying actions, attributing misunderstandings to the victim, downplaying their feelings, and gradually eroding their self-confidence. The term gaslighting originated from the 1938 play Gaslight and its film adaptations. In this story, a husband manipulates his wife into thinking she's going insane by dimming the gaslights and denying any changes when she notices them. Victims of gaslighting may face significant repercussions, such as emotional distress, self-doubt, anxiety, and depression. Individuals need to recognize these tactics to protect themselves from manipulation and preserve their mental well-being. This involves establishing boundaries, seeking support from trusted individuals, and developing self-awareness to trust one's perceptions and instincts. Guilt tripping is the act of making someone feel responsible for something to achieve a desired outcome or gain sympathy. It often involves highlighting past actions to place blame on the targeted individual, even if they are not truly at fault. The individual using guilt-tripping tactics may exaggerate the consequences of the targeted individual's behavior, leading them to feel overly responsible for negative outcomes. They might also portray themselves as victims of the targeted individual's actions, eliciting sympathy and guilt from the other person. In some cases, the manipulator may resort to issuing ultimatums or threats, implying that failure to comply with their wishes will result in negative consequences. The practice of this tactic can harm relationships, fostering feelings of resentment, frustration, and low self-esteem in the targeted individual. Recognizing these manipulation tactics is essential to safeguard emotional well-being. This can involve calmly addressing manipulative behavior, refusing unwarranted guilt, and prioritizing self-care and assertiveness skills. Playing the victim involves portraying oneself as innocent or wronged to gain sympathy and attention or evade responsibility for one's actions. This manipulative tactic is employed across personal relationships, social interactions, and professional settings. The individual consistently blames others for their problems or mistakes, refusing to take accountability for their actions. They may exaggerate or embellish their difficulties or challenges, making them seem more severe or unjust than they actually are. Playing the victim often involves seeking attention and validation from others, using their perceived suffering as a means to garner sympathy and support. The manipulator may use emotional manipulation techniques, such as crying, sulking, or expressing helplessness, to evoke pity and guilt in others. They might refuse to consider alternative viewpoints or solutions to their problems, insisting on being the sole victim. Playing the victim can harm relationships by fostering resentment. Recognizing this behavior is crucial, and setting boundaries is essential to safeguard emotional well-being. Offering support without enabling unhealthy behaviors, and practicing assertive communication. The silent treatment is a tactic where a person intentionally ignores or refuses to engage with another individual to express displeasure, assert power, or avoid conflict. It's used as emotional manipulation to punish or control the other person by withholding communication and attention, aiming to induce feelings of guilt or anxiety. The individual employing this tactic refuses to respond to messages, calls, or attempts at conversation from the other person. They may also physically withdraw from the situation, avoiding any form of interaction. This tactic can serve as a means for one person to exert power or dominance by controlling communication and deciding when interaction will resume. The silent treatment can harm relationships, causing feelings of rejection, resentment, and insecurity in the recipient. Dealing with this manipulation tactic can be difficult, but it's crucial to address the behavior and openly communicate feelings and concerns. This can include expressing the impact of the behavior and trying to initiate constructive dialogue. However, it's also essential to recognize when the silent treatment becomes a pattern requiring professional intervention or a re-evaluation of relationship dynamics. Love bombing is a relationship tactic often observed in the initial phases, where one person inundates the other with abundant affection, attention, and expressions of love or admiration. While typically linked with romantic relationships, it can also manifest in friendships and family dynamics. The love bomber showers the other person with extravagant displays of affection, compliments, gifts, and declarations of love, often at a rapid pace and with exaggerated enthusiasm. This tactic typically involves a rapid escalation of the relationship, prematurely, sometimes before the other person is prepared. This behavior can serve as emotional manipulation, aimed at rapidly gaining control and influence over the other person by exploiting their emotions and vulnerabilities. In some instances, love bombing may involve efforts to isolate the other person from their friends, family, or support network, increasing their dependence on the manipulator for validation and companionship. After the initial phase of this tactic, the manipulator may suddenly withdraw or become emotionally distant, leaving the other person confused, hurt, or longing for the intense affection they were previously receiving. This manipulation tactic can lead to psychological harm and unhealthy relationship dynamics. It's vital for individuals to recognize the signs of love bombing and approach new relationships cautiously, ensuring a balance of affection and respect while setting healthy boundaries to safeguard their emotional well-being. Triangulation, a manipulation tactic in interpersonal relationships, involves a person, the triangulator, bringing a third party into a conflict between two others, aiming to achieve objectives like shifting blame, gaining support, or diverting attention from the original issue. This often leads to heightened tension, confusion, and manipulation within the relationships involved. This tactic manipulates perceptions by presenting selective information or framing the situation to portray themselves favorably or undermine the other party's credibility. Triangulation undermines trust, generates divisions, and sustains conflicts within relationships. It fosters reliance on the triangulator for resolution or validation, perpetuating unhealthy dynamics. Examples of triangulation may include a parent involving a child in marital disputes, a manager seeking support from a colleague to undermine a subordinate, or a friend soliciting allies to validate their perspective in a disagreement, thereby introducing a third party into the relationship. Recognizing triangulation is crucial for maintaining healthy relationships and resolving conflicts constructively. Individuals can address it by promoting open communication, setting boundaries, and encouraging direct engagement between conflicting parties. Therapy or counseling may also help address underlying issues and improve interpersonal dynamics. Emotional blackmail is a manipulative tactic that leverages threats, guilt, or emotional pressure to control others' emotions, desires, or fears for the blackmailer's gain. It often exploits the victim's feelings of guilt or obligation by emphasizing past actions or sacrifices, making them feel selfish for refusing demands. The blackmailer may portray themselves as a victim to evoke sympathy or pity, making it challenging for the victim to assert their own needs or boundaries. The manipulator may threaten harm to the victim emotionally, physically, financially, or socially if their demands are not met. For instance, they might threaten to end the relationship, spread rumors, or withhold affection or support. Emotional blackmailers may utilize love, approval, or validation as leverage, creating a sense in the victim that compliance with their wishes is necessary to earn or maintain affection, approval, or respect. Examples of emotional blackmail could involve a partner threatening to leave unless their demands are met, a parent threatening to disown a child for not complying with their wishes, or a coworker threatening to sabotage a colleague's career if they don't comply with their requests. Dealing with emotional blackmail involves setting boundaries, communicating confidently, and seeking support from trusted individuals or professionals. Victims should understand they are not accountable for the blackmailer's behavior and have the right to prioritize their well-being and autonomy.